Kids in most places across the country, either in school, heading out to school later in the morning, and you as the parent hoping for the best, I'm sure, that they're treated fairly by other children. But what might give you pause this morning is some startling new research out of York University in Toronto that suggests white children as young as 5 years old show racial bias in favor of other white children. Nicole Mortiaro is our senior science and technology writer with me in studio to tell us more about what these researchers found.
Well, the study comes out of York University, and they were looking at implicit bias. So this is bias.
Implicit bias,
yes. Implicit, as opposed to explicit. So implicit bias is the bias we have attitudes towards people. It could be hair color, eye color, race, weight, anything like
Tattoos.
that. Tattoos, yes.
Yes.
You know, and you have an unconscious bias or perception about somebody with those attributes.
So how did they actually, what kind of tests did they do to test children as young as 5?
Well, it can be tricky. I mean, they've done tests. There have been tests actually at the University of Toronto on babies, and that one's a little trickier. But with these kids, they took 350 children from Toronto, okay? And they applied 3 different tests. One of the most well-known ones is called the IAT, the Implicit Association Test.
Right.
So this actually is a test developed by Harvard researchers. And the adult test, what they do is they put pictures of a white person, of a black person, you categorize them white, black, and then you categorize them into, now you see a picture, and you categorize them into good or bad. So what they did with the kids...
You click on that with a computer, do
exactly.
you? Okay.
It has to be very quick, too,
yes.
So that's a tricky thing.
Okay.
So, but they modified that particular test, for example, for children. Okay. And then they gave another one to test the similar things. You know, they had a black face of a boy, a white face of a boy, and then a gray square. And then they showed them an ink blot. Does that make them happy or sad?
And this is what they found, going back to age of 5.
Yes.
I mean, how is it that something like that starts so early?
Well, so first of all, one of the big takeaways from this this research is that they are showing bias towards other white children, but they're not necessarily showing negativity towards black children. Okay. So that is because when you're younger, even when they're babies, it's something familiar, and it's you're egocentric, so you know I'm the best, and so it goes on from there. But with the older children, so those closer to the age of 12, what they found was that they didn't necessarily associate by race. And that was because they're more likely to associate by similarities, likes, dislikes, things like that.
So that's interesting. I mean, there's some positivity in some of the findings, but parents hearing us talk this morning going, whoa, my young son or daughter may have this inherently. What's the big takeaway from the researchers about how to stop this developing at such an early age?
So one of the things their research and actually other research suggests is not to take a colorblind approach. So don't say everybody's equal, you know, this person doesn't have any differences. You want to say, sure, everybody's equal, but this person has, it comes from this type of culture, and you teach them to appreciate different cultures. Okay. And fortunately, I mean, not everybody can do that. You might say if you're in a small town as opposed to a big city like Toronto or Vancouver, but the internet, you know, books, social media, you can expose your children to the diverse cultures from around the world and show them that positivity.
And celebrate those differences. Yes. That's just a beginning of the conversation. Nicole, thank you very much for coming down.